know, if you're just doing something just for the sake of Instagram likes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In the dog patch area?
We're in the dog patch. We're in downtown San Francisco area. It's going to be Coach Rich Thurman. He's a specialist in steel mace training.
Look at the view that he has over here. Imagine coming in here, doing some training. Like, who wouldn't love to see this? Again, shout out to Coach Rich Thurman. Stay tuned for what he has in store for us, guys. Hi, I'm Queenie.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
The mace itself is not a gata, so you know, the mace you can say like, yeah, that's a weapon, you know, but I think the gata in its origins, I think we have to, you know, pretty much do a good job to kind of like distinguish and separate the fact that there's some tradition, and then there's, you know, now modern era stuff, and we're in the modern era, and so, you know, I approach it from that. I see like a tool that, you know, has yet to be explored from a strength and conditioning perspective. So I look at it like that. How can this feed better performance? How can this feed, you know, better overall human movement? You know, so powerlifting is a very linear sport, a linear activity, and so what gets left out is all the rotational movements, you know, counter rotational, you know, different things that add variety and help your body, you know, understand how to move power in a sort of rotational way. There's a lot of imbalances you can work on, and I think so when I look at using the offset load of the mace, and the shorter maces it's a little bit harder, but I have a longer custom mace, so you know, I take people and get them to use that long lever and set up in their deadlift and things like that and see how it feels. And a lot of times you start to see like little things like they can't control the rotation of the mace, they can't keep it, you know, level, they lose, you know, they lose something through here. And so, you know, if they work on that sort of aspect using the offset loads, you know, in the end it's rooting out those little weaknesses that you might not notice when you have even load on both sides.
Is as the weight gets heavier, and with some people generally, as the weight gets heavier, what will happen is you get, you know, rotation.
Okay.
You'll get inability to, as they pull, you'll get the inability to keep it neutral, straight. You'll get
It makes no sense to go fast with these movements, right?
Yeah.
Because these exercises, just use them for strength, you know, pure strength. And then with strength, you're going to slow it down a bit, right? So you're going to move a little bit slower than you would with power movement. And the reason why I say like going with speed for this sort of row makes no sense is because you're then hiding the offset nature of it, right? So you go here, you set up, and you start doing this.
So you're messing it up.
What sense does that make? Like, what does that actually? What are you giving to the body? What are you feeding the body? And the body responds, or cells respond to force. So if you're not actually creating force and feeling, and the body's not feeling it, then you're not delivering anything.
So to me, like, I feel like it gives your body the opportunity to like recognize what's being worked. You're actually, you're squeezing it, you're breathing the right way, and then when you graduate to those power movements, then your body's like, okay,
Right.
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. So usually I start with static movements. Teach static movements first, and then dynamic, stability, and then next we work with our more explosive power movements. So we kind of, graduate people. You get a solid foundation of stability before you start moving into those more dynamic, activity. I'm just holding a static hold position, right? I'm stabilizing the shoulder, stabilizing with the biceps, my wrist. A lot of people, they can't hold the club out in this way, and they get a lot of wobble to it. Their wrist is not stable enough to hold it. Their grip also is tested and challenged, so they're not used to that. And then we go into a more dynamic movement, like a pullover, and we just go over the shoulder and pull. Okay, and then we go into even more dynamic. So you can take people and progress them from one thing to the other. Most people want to start with the most dynamic activity because it looks cool. But understanding that having a solid foundation and breaking these things into components is really important. Start with a torch press. Overhead. Pull back in. So that's a complex, what I call a complex, and it can be broken down in multiple different ways, right? So you're a sum of all your parts. So if you're good at that part and you're good at another part, you can add those two parts together. So let's press, pull overhead, back in, press. Where do you spend most of your time, and then what do you need? And I'm able to give them the picture of it, right? Because they'll be like, well, on Mondays I do, Barry's boot camp, and then on Tuesdays I'm doing Soul Cycle, and then on Wednesdays I do this boot camp, and then I'm like, so 3 days of high intensity, where's your recovery?
Yeah.
Where's your endurance? Where's your strength? It's missing. So my initial jump into fitness was after college. I decided that I didn't want to go to physical therapy school or go to medical school, and I just decided I want to be on the preventive side of health, not receiving injured bodies and then trying to repair them, but actually working with people to help prevent potential injury, helping people get better, and then if there are people coming from the physical therapy realm, it's how do we carry them on from there? So that was my goal as far as jumping into fitness. But where do I see fitness as a whole? I mean, I think the big gyms will always be around that. I don't have a problem with the big gyms. They serve a purpose. There's a lot of things that certain gyms could be doing better, but I think there's a lot of them out there that are doing good jobs, continue education and stuff like that as well. So they give their coaches opportunities at that. I see a lot more independent gyms, which is really cool as well, because then you have a variety of things coming out of those spaces. But I also think that what's happened over the last 10 years is you see CrossFit became popular, and now it's there, and it's even evolved to become something different and something new, and they're exploring different ranges. Hopefully, this is what I hope and not I think, I hope that fitness starts to grab a hold of that other aspect that it seems to have forgot, which is health, right? It used to be health and fitness.
Yes.
And like we cut off like the and at the end, and we were just like fitness. And I think we have to like take steps back and be like, hey, wait a minute. Why did we start doing these things? And we started doing this in the first place for health, because people were sitting more than they used to be. People were eating more crap. So we started for health purposes, and I think we've got to go back to the health aspect. I stay motivated. I mean, I'm like anybody else. I have days where, you know, I'm totally unmotivated to work out, and I listen to myself. You know, I listen to that, and sometimes I have to give myself an opportunity to step back and, you know, relax and be like, you know what, I'm gonna take a couple days and not do much. I think that's your body's trying to tell you something, you know. So I think being able to understand, listen to your body is important. But I mean, I generally stay motivated. You know, I think finding why you do something is really important. And for me, I have a small child, and you know, I want to be able to, you know, do stuff with him and enjoy life with him. I don't want to be broken down, you know. So I think like the thing that I would say to anybody out there is finding out why you want to do it. And I think the more superficial your reasons are, the harder it's going to be to maintain. The deeper you get to those reasons, I think the easier it is to continue and go on. And I don't think it always comes down to like just sitting still and not, you know, and closing everything out. I think that, you know, movement can be meditation. You know, it could be meditative, especially when you're connecting with your breath and your movements, and you're really focused in that. I think meditation is about focus, it's about mental focus. And so if you can, in that moment of training, be well connected with the movements you're doing and with the breathing that you're doing, I think that you can find meditative qualities within that.
First off, for giving us his time. Awesome trainer, awesome information. His Instagram is coach_RT3.
Yep.
And then YouTube is?
My YouTube is Exodus Fitness SF. It's XODUS Fitness SF.
Gotcha. So if people want to take classes with you too, where can we find you?
You find all my information at CoachRichThurman.com.